to take a moment to mention a very astute viewer of mine noticed that when I had mixed the snakebite leather and bleached bone together to make that middle range for doing the bone pieces, essentially that created vomit brown. And somehow I didn't notice that. So thank you, Talos. And I know you've probably already worked on this step before for doing all the bone pieces. But if you haven't, keep in mind when I mixed the snakebite and bleached bone together, all you really needed was vomit brown. Unless, of course, you didn't already have vomit brown, in which case you would have to mix those two together. But in any case, just letting you know. So thanks for reminding me, Talos. I should have noticed that. Alright guys, I am going to be taking a little bit of a break before we hit up the first ship, mainly because I have a couple other copies of Dreadfleet that I've gotten in, and I would like to build those and prime them and paint all 3 sets roughly at the same time, and that way I can certainly give you a better before and after of while I'm painting the ships. So this video is basically just to tell you that, and also for you airbrushers out there. Now when it comes to doing the ship sails, if you have an airbrush, this is going to go a lot smoother for you than it will be for the rest of us using just brushes, or at least until you get to the Jolly Rogers. But I just wanted to briefly go over this, how the airbrushing aspect of this would be done. You know, just to cover all the bases. Now, here we have a regular white sheet of paper. Assume, just for giggles, that these are your pieces of plastic here. These are your sails. And they are already primed white. The next thing you're going to want to do is take your base color and airbrush the entirety of the sail. Your base color, you want it to be nice and solid. Nice solid color. In this case, gray. I'm going to go ahead and do that to this sail as well, to show you what the next step will be like. So again, pretend this is with an airbrush. Now, this one's a little bit darker, but that's okay. The next thing you're going to want to do, now that your sail is completely base coated, is take a darker color of your base coat. So if you're working with, say, a red sail, then you'd probably want to mix your blood red with Dwarf Flesh, or possibly Dark Angel's green with red, just to get a darker red. You can try mixing black with red, but again, when you're mixing with blacks to get darker colors, it can get a little funky. But experiment and see what you like the best when you're mixing any colors. I'm just giving you the example of red. And you would take that darker shade and airbrush the very bottom and the very top, roughly, to get a nice gradient at the top and bottom. One way this can be achieved with an airbrush, besides just, you know, spraying it lighter, would be when you move further up your flag here and you're spraying, spray like psh, and pull away. Spray, pull away while you're moving up. Nice fluid motion. If this is your first time using an airbrush, some of my viewers are actually investing in airbrushes for this project, hence why I'm doing this. Experiment on something first. I don't care if it's, you know, a piece of paper or a rock or something, or your sprues would probably be ideal if you kept any of them. And work out all the kinks on spraying close versus spraying far. My experience with airbrushes is I like to go ahead and spray, and in order to get a nice smoother transition, smoother gradient in here, I pull away as I'm moving up. So it's kind of a motion like spray, kind of like that. Hopefully that makes sense. When you have the airbrush in hand, it's kind of second nature. It's looks silly explaining it, but once you do it, you know what you're doing. Essentially, you won't screw it up, trust me. But please do practice first. So now, I'm going to do the same thing over here. This is my base coat, nice and solid. And for all of you guys that are going to be using brushes like me, you'll just have to stay tuned for the upcoming video. I'll probably be making that sometime next week, and I am sorry for the hiatus, but I really have to get these other sets built and primed before it gets too cold to do so. And it's going to benefit you in the long run, because I'll be able to show you, of course, like I do with some of the other things, you know, first layer, second layer, third layer, etc., etc. Alright, and then the darker shade. And we'll be doing this with brushes too. It's just, this is predominantly just for the airbrushers amongst us. You get the idea. And we will do this with the brushes. It's just a lot slower. And we're going to be doing a little bit more work with the, we're going to be painting the symbols. That's the word I was looking for. We're going to be painting the symbols on the flags, the Jolly Rogers on the flags, prior to doing this step. If you're an airbrusher, you're going to be doing your whole spray over your icons, whereas with the brush we're going to be doing it the other way around. So, okay. So here is the same as this step. Now what you're going to want to do is take your base coat and get a lighter shade of that base coat. I'm using an eraser. And you're going to want to spray towards the center. And hopefully that will show through. And get a nice gradient between your dark all the way to your lightest and back to your dark. And this will give you the depth for your sail. So you can see base coat, the darker shades on the top and bottom, and then your highlight shade towards the center. And at this point then you'd be focusing on picking out the Jolly Roger icon on your flag with brushes. So does airbrushing save time for this step? Maybe, maybe not, because you're going to be spending time picking out all the details on the icon anyway, whereas if you're doing it with a brush, we're pretty much going to be dry brushing the icons first and then picking out around those icons with our paints to get the gradient. So you're probably spending the same amount of time either way, but whatever. So that's basically it if you're using an airbrush. And again, we will be doing this with regular brushes. It's just going to be a little bit different technique. So I'll be seeing you sometime next week. And we'll be working on this, the swordfish. Yes. So in the meantime, please do catch up with any of the other stuff you haven't finished yet. I still haven't blackened this castle yet. That's something I definitely want to do. I haven't finished my turtle. I pretty much have been working full tilt on some other projects, and you know, I've kind of put this a little bit on hiatus, waiting for these other Dreadfleets to come in, but they are here now, so I'm just going to build and prime, and next time you see me, we'll be doing ships. A couple other cool things I got, mates. Earth Reborn. I've been doing some painting trades for other folks, and this is one of the games that not only did I get a copy in trade, but I got a copy to paint. So I've been thinking about doing a little snippet of YouTubing with painting the figures of Earth Reborn. Very, very massive game. The box lid isn't even closed when you get it. Wow. That's probably the biggest game I've ever gotten, not in terms of painting, but in terms of just components. And I thought Space Hulk was immense. But I got another copy of Dreadfleet here, and another copy of Dreadfleet here. And yeah, I got a lot of painting to do on the table. I've got a copy of Space Hulk, primered and ready to go, besides, of course, my own Space Hulk. And my trade's got me a lot of good stuff, so I'm very happy with the trading. And I actually have a second copy of Thunderstone and another copy of Dice Town I'm going to put up on eBay. But these don't have figures or anything to paint. But yeah, Earth Reborn, really cool. You open this box and you can see, I mean, it is just loaded, loaded, loaded. I mean, if you're a Space Hulk fan, you'll probably wet your panties for this. I already took the figures out of here and getting them ready. They actually come pre-primered, which is pretty cool. So here are the really cool minis from Earth Reborn. Basically, a lot of different army guys. But there's really awesome, like, mutant zombie figures. Who doesn't like zombies? Oh, I picked you up already. Oh, there's this guy. He's going to be a favorite to paint. Yeah, look at that saw arm going on. And if you're a fan of Warhammer 40k Tau, this one's for you. Awesome looking walker. Where are my zombies? Here we go. I also have a copy of, or I will be getting probably today, Mansions of Madness, the game. We'll be painting those figures too. And those promise to be really awesome. So these are going to be great. Great fun to paint. I look forward to YouTubing them. So that's just a side note. Just to let you know what else I got on the table. You want to play Angry Birds? You want to play Angry Birds? Angry Birds, get the pig! Get the pig! Yeah! Yeah! Kill that pig!